Hello YouTube, it's Brent Pomerany with Complete Load Solutions, and today I want to talk about dispatching. Dispatching is such a complex, dynamic, and changing position. From the moment that a dispatcher walks in the morning and then that phone rings for the first time, all bets are off, and it's quite an interesting job for sure. I've dispatched for many years, probably several million yards worth of concrete, and all sorts of different size organizations from family owned to multinational. And the one thing I know in common is that a dispatcher's position is super challenging, super stressful. And I have all the respect for the dispatchers and what they do on a day-to-day basis. Dispatchers operate in real time, and they operate with a hand of cards that's ever changing, ever flexing, and ever demanding. Again, from a customer forgetting to place an order to running short or just simply increasing our order, any of those variables happens to us multiple times a day, and we have to react in real time and try to make the decisions in the best and informed manner that we can. So thank you, dispatchers, for what you do every day. I'm here today to talk about some tools that Complete Load Solutions is going to have in the toolbox for producers and their dispatchers to help make their days a little bit easier and less redundant from a task perspective. Dispatchers are absolutely necessary, and they're going to be a vital part of our business moving forward. But I think if we kind of reshape some of their demands and eliminate some of the redundancies or task redundancies, we're going to put them in a much better position to manage more effectively and in a position to drive more dollars to your bottom line. We know that market equilibrium decides a lot of things in our business, depending on where you're at regionally. Most of us experience the same pricing constraints, raw goods inputs, all those things. So it just really comes down to operating as efficiently as possible. And when I say that, what I mean by operating efficiently is not sacrificing a level of service in doing so. It's just making sure that we're making the best decisions we can in real time and reacting to those situations so that we can make the most optimum dispatching decisions. And coming from a family-owned producer, we started in 1984, we were very resistant to change, very resistant to adopting new technologies. And I think that's a mistake for producers to maintain that mindset in today's day and age. We've seen plenty of examples where technologies can prove a real ROI to a business, so we'll not embrace those technologies. And I think that as time evolves, we're going to have a suite of products that condenses to a point to where we don't have a million different logins or screens or passwords to get all these systems to communicate with each other. I think that most of these systems are going to be seamless in transition and single site logins and so forth, complement each other very well. It's critical that producers are using computerized dispatching software at a minimum. And as time goes on, I think that predictive dispatching and optimized type dispatching is going to be the wave of the future. There's so many variables that exist in the dispatching matrix that it's impossible for any human being to be able to comprehend and calculate those decisions in real time. What I mean by that is travel time, fuel, overtime, material costs, just cost of lateness. And what I mean by cost of lateness is there is a monetary cost of being late to a customer, but there's always a kind of a damage control factor of being late too. But it's just impossible to crunch those numbers in real time by any human being, no matter how intelligent or well-versed you are in dispatching. It's just, these tools are there to help your lives be easier. So that's important. And then secondly, having a telematics provider that can get you real-time information back onto your dispatch screens. And we're just about there with everybody, where we have automatic statusing for all of our statuses, including drum rotation, so that we know exactly when a truck arrives on site, exactly when the truck's dumping, empty, on the way back. It's just critical. And we talk about at Complete Load Solutions that every second counts. And how can we possibly be talking about saving seconds as producers? Well, everything snowballs so quickly in any thing we do as a producer. And today we want to talk about dispatching. And time is not reimbursable. Time is not recoverable at a plant. So basically, if you have a very busy day and for whatever reason you are 2 minutes behind, 3 minutes behind, or you go use the restroom, now you're 5 minutes behind and ticketing a truck who's ready to load and no one's under the plant, you don't get that time back. So every subsequent truck is now 5 minutes behind, and depending on how quickly you can make those decisions, I mean, you're never going to make up that 5 minutes. You just cannot recover it. It's physically impossible. You just are trying to keep everything moving through your plants as quickly and efficiently as possible. So I guess what I want to propose tonight is introducing a new method of dispatching called the pull method of dispatching. It still has the organizational structure. You still have dispatchers and plant operators and truck drivers. It's just that as a dispatcher or order taker, we enter and key in all this information into our dispatch software: travel times, unload times, truck load sizes, GPS coordinates for the directions and so forth, what plant it's going to come out of. And there's so many more factors we can put in there. But if all that information is populated and saved in an order, then why isn't that good enough to automate off of? We know as a dispatcher that, all your orders are coming down the screen and the next order to load is always at the top, at least fundamentally. I know you may want to circumvent that and go around it for a special customer or special situation, but let's stick with that logic. So if the next order is ready to be ticketed and a truck's available to load, why not have that ticket automatically print for that truck or automatically generate for the truck? Why wait for the dispatcher to click and drag that ticket to that truck? Why doesn't the truck say, hey, I'm ready, give me that ticket? Well, that's going to become the pull method of dispatch, and that's okay, producers, and that's okay, dispatchers. It's kind of a shock to the system, but let's look at it this way. If I'm a dispatcher and instead of clicking and dragging every ticket every single day, why can't I just manage the orders? Why can't I move up an order that's, say ready earlier or more of a priority in its current state? Or why can't I click to drop down? As long as that top order is a good order and it's been reviewed and everything's good on it, why not let, when a truck is ready, to automatically trigger the ticketing process there? What that's going to do, it's going to put a another zero gap time window in at our plant, so that the moment that a truck is ready to load, it's going to generate its own ticket immediately. There's not going to be a second wasted. And we talked about this on the production side too. And if the plant's available to weigh up a load, we can do that in real time and have zero gaps. So folks, what I'm talking about tonight is if we put ourselves in these types of scenarios where we're utilizing technology to trigger auto events, even saving 1 minute on a fleet of 50 trucks at a $2 variable cost, operating cost per minute, you're going to save $100 a day, $500 a week, $2,000 a month, $25,000 at the end of the year. And that's just 1 minute. So I encourage everybody to look at your KPIs. And in today's video, what I'm talking about is from your in-yard time to your ticket time, your next ticket for a truck. So in other words, when a truck gets back into the yard until it receives its next ticket, you need a baseline there. And let's say it's 5 minutes. Why is it 5 minutes? Does it take 5 minutes for that truck to get ready to be ready to load? Does it take 3 minutes? Are there two unengaged minutes that can be recovered? Why is it taking that time? And whatever your standard is, I mean, if you can go back year after year and look and see what your trend data is, but that arrival in yard to next ticket is a KPI you need to be looking at and utilizing technology like this to get that next ticket on that truck in the most effective manner that you can as a producer. Please comment below. I invite you to subscribe and share this video. I'd really like to talk to you more about this, so please email me at Brent, B-R-E-N-T, @CompleteLoadSolutions.com for more information. Thank you.